Hello, hello. Welcome to the Mystic Path. This is going to be your new moon in Sagittarius reading, November 23rd, 2022. I'm going to give a quick disclaimer. It's cooled down quite a bit here in Florida, which makes our mystic cat, our local community mystic cat, Watson, go crazy. He acts wild. He's been acting wild since about 5 o'clock this morning. So if you hear any crazy noises in the background, he may jump up here because he's been doing that a lot while I've been trying to get prepared. So just a little disclaimer. The energy and the environment have our resident mystic cat Watson acting a little bit of a fool. You might hear Sophia growling because she is like a grandma, and so she doesn't like it when he's all fired up like this. So because she finds him annoying. So anyway, I just wanted to give that disclaimer, okay? Also, as always, this is for the new moon in Sagittarius, November 23rd, 2022. If you are watching this video and it is not that time or date, that is fine. The messages find you when they are meant for you. So if anything resonates for you, take it. It does not matter, right? Time is not really a thing. That's just a human thing. It's not really a thing in the realm of quantum and meta. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I made some notes and then we'll pull some cards. So, we've talked a lot on this channel about this year has been very intense energy-wise. There have been multiple eclipses and partial eclipses. That always stirs up the energy, pushes humanity to evolve on both personal and collective levels. So things have been intense. We completed our last eclipse earlier in November. There will not be any more eclipses until 2025, I believe. So we've got some time now, right? The universe has forced all this new, evolving, new perspective, energy on us this year as a collective. And now we're going to have several years to integrate all this new information before more energy comes on, right? More change energy, that is. So, we got out our Moonology deck, the new moon in Sagittarius card. Sorry, I have the camera in a different position, so I'm just trying to figure out where I need to hold the cards so you guys can see. Too far over. Okay, so over here. So it says luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. It's a fire sign. Okay. This energy is going to kind of bring into focus the spirit of adventure. It's going to bring into focus how we interact with new perspectives. It's a very optimistic, hopeful energy. It's also very lucky feeling this energy, right? The energy for the most part will feel bright, optimistic, pleasant, abundant, right? Which is going to be good after, because we've had a very intense year. There has been a lot of changes happening in the large collective and in people's personal level of growth as well. I am not exempt. I've had also lots of shifts and changes this year as well. So the good news is, from this point forward till the end of the year here in America, we have a bunch of holidays coming up. So the good news is, for these holidays, the energy is going to be better, right? It's going to be less tense. It's going to be more optimistic, pleasant. You're going to feel lucky and happy and abundant, right? You're going to feel willing to take risks, to reach out for what it is you really want in your life. This is a new moon. As we know, new moons are about new beginnings. Sagittarius is a fire sign. I think I just mentioned that. And the energy of Sagittarius is loud and bold and never apologetic. Okay, so, and like with anything, that can be, there's always two sides to the coin, right? So, so don't just think it's all going to be happiness, roses, optimism, abundance, right? Because there's always a flip side of the coin. So the energy is more supportive of this happy, bright, optimistic, risk-taking, pleasant energy. But there is also the potential for there to be some tension, right? And that's because the Sagittarius energy is loud, bold, and never apologetic. That can get you in trouble, right? If you're not in balance, that can get you into trouble. Because if you're being loud, bold, and not apologetic, that could rub others the wrong way, which could then cause conflict, right? And then, don't be like, oh, I'm sorry, I just heard somebody in my head say, I just heard, like, whoever's watching, somebody watching, I just heard, oh, but that's not, what about the bright, optimistic, happy energy, right? Well, that's what the universe is supporting, that energy that right now. And if you practice staying in that energy and not going full force into the Sagittarius energy, you're going to be fine. You're going to have a great, wonderful time. But if you go too fast, too soon, too fast in this bold, unapologetic, loud energy, that could cause you some tension and issues in your life with the relationships around you, because not everybody can deal with that, right? And what I just saw in my mind's eye was a bulldozer. Okay, there's a tendency for this fire energy to make people who aren't as assertive feel bulldozed, right? Like you're trying to force your reality on me. You're trying to force new perspectives on me. You're trying to force changes on me, right? So that's why we have to be conscious and try to stay balanced and not let that full Sagittarius energy just take us over without us participating and being conscious and thinking things through, right? Because nobody wants to be bulldozed, and we shouldn't want to bulldoze people in our lives either, because eventually that will breed resentment, right? So for whoever that's for, I felt that message coming in very strongly. We got to pull back a little bit. We can't always be bulldozing people with our perspective, our ideas, our goals, right? Now, like I said, this energy is going to be really good for taking a risk, reaching out for what we want. It's a good time for us to revisit old projects. It's a good time to do the thing you've been wanting to do, but you didn't feel ready for, or you didn't feel good enough for, or you felt maybe embarrassed about it, right? Like, I'm embarrassed to tell people that this is my goal, or this is what I want to do or be. This energy is going to kind of burn. Okay. That's funny. I was going to say wipe away, and my guides were like, fire sign, burn it away. So this energy is going to burn away any of those feelings we had that made us feel embarrassed or not good enough or not qualified or ready to take the next step or to move into the next thing, right? So this new moon is going to inspire expansion. It's going to bring a lot of major shifts in the collective vibe, shifts in people's perspectives, right? So now we're going to start integrating all of the years eclipse energies. And that's going to cause us to grow and expand and open our minds, right? And shift our perspectives. That's great. And what's also great is Sagittarius is a fire sign that's about kind of championing bravery and honesty. It's a good time during this new moon to set goals, set intentions, shoot for what it is you really want. But don't make rash choices or decisions, okay? Just like I was saying a second ago. This bold, loud, never apologetic energy can get you in trouble if you're making rash decisions or you're reacting without pausing to think things through. It's very, very, when I was channeling, I always make notes here. And when I was channeling, I wrote, and I underlined it. So that must mean when it was coming in, the energy felt very intense, right? So it said, it's always better to think things through and weigh any potential consequences, right? So that's what I was just saying. Like the bold, loud, unapologetic energy can be good if you're not somebody who stands up for themselves or speaks up or goes after what they want. But if you're already somebody who does that, this energy could make a little space to get you in trouble, right? Because of what I mentioned earlier, the bulldozing factor, the forcing your wants, needs, goals, and realities on other people. We cannot do that, right? And we do that a lot in society. This is partially why society is so chaotic right now, and everybody is like renegotiating all these social contracts, because it does not feel good to have somebody else's reality forced upon you, somebody else's rules, somebody else's ideas and dreams or goals, right? So if you're somebody who's already bold and loud and unapologetic, like myself, I'm a double fire sign, Leo and Aries, my moon and sun. So I am already somebody who stands up for myself. I've gotten really good at setting boundaries. I've gotten good at voicing what it is my needs are and what I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm not willing to tolerate, right? But that does get me in trouble sometimes. And not everybody in my life can handle the non-apologetic energy, right? Like I will speak truths sometimes that are hard for people, and it may spin them a little bit or turn what they were thinking on its head, and I don't apologize for it. I'm not like, oh, I'm sorry I'm making you uncomfortable. I'm like, no, this is a truth. We have to face these truths and then move forward accordingly, right? But like I said, if I don't stop to pause, to think about what I'm about to say, to think about what the consequences may be of what I'm going to say, right? Because there have been many times, like now, I've worked for myself now for 16 years, but before that, I worked for other people and sometimes in corporations, and that could get me in trouble because they already have like rules and a culture, and they don't want somebody in there like shaking it up and changing things because they want the ship to run smoothly. So that fire energy has gotten me in trouble a lot in my life because I had, not so much now at this age, but when I was younger and I didn't really know how to slide into observer mode, I didn't know how to discern when I should drop these truths, right? It would cause me lots of issues. Literally just the other day, my niece is like, I called my mom. She was like, answered my mom's phone. And she was just being very obnoxious, like 12-year-olds can be, right? She wouldn't give my mom the phone. So I talked to her for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, now listen, pass the phone to Mama. I need the phone. And she was just like, no. She was like forcing what she wanted on everyone else. And I finally said, enough. Give the phone to Mama. I called to speak to Mama. I have something I need to speak with her about. So she did reluctantly, but then I could hear her in the background then like, stop it, Mama, don't do that. And I said, my God, and that's what it is. She is struggling right now as a 12-year-old with like control and things that are out of her control. And she's trying to force her will and her control on the rest of us because, well, I don't like it when that happens, or I don't want to go here, right? But as a kid, you have to like learn to hold that back. And so I said to my mom, my God, has she had a bunch of sugar or something today? And I was on speaker and I didn't know it. And so my mom's like, no, she's always like this. And so then my niece heard what we were saying and she's like, yes, this is just who I am. She said, and this kind of made me chuckle. She said, I'm a very energetic person, okay? And I said, well, there's nothing wrong with that. At least you own it. And then she said, but everybody's always telling me in school I'm being too loud and I need to settle down and I need to quiet. And I just chuckled, and she was like, stop laughing at me. And I said, I'm not laughing at you. I'm chuckling because Aunt Amy used to get told those same things in school, right? Because I was a double fire sign and I had all this energy and I was bold and loud and unapologetic, and that doesn't always work in a school system where they want you to conform and listen and learn and let the teachers run the show, right? So I was chuckling at her because I was like, oh, well, it comes naturally to you because you got the genetics and the astrology and everything that also makes you loud and bold and unapologetic. But again, if you do not know how to keep that in balance, and you do not know, and you have not yet mastered when it's appropriate to drop a truth and when it's not, right? Earlier in November, we talked about, in one of the videos, I think maybe it was the November energy update, but we talked about how we have to start challenging ourselves in our communication, and we have to start pausing before we think, right? And asking ourselves, like, okay, what is the consequence going to be if I actually say this? That's the first thing. Second thing, is what I'm saying valuable? Do I really need to say it in this moment to these people? Am I just talking to hear myself talk? Am I talking to try to persuade somebody to agree with me or like what I like, don't like what I like, or don't like what I don't like, right? So it's just interesting that all this bold energy is coming in because they're challenging us to not let it overtake us, right? So like earlier I was saying, the Sagittarius energy is bright, optimistic, pleasant, abundant, right? But there is still gonna be space for there to be tension, for there to be disharmony. Because I don't want to say conflict because that's not the right word, but some disharmony, right? And so that's why we're talking about this. This bold energy is coming in we could also feel a little bit stuck, right? If we're not able to say what we think we need to say, sometimes that makes us feel like, well, I'm stagnant, I'm stuck. But again, that if we go back and ask ourselves these questions, like, why am I saying what I want to say? Is this the right venue and appropriate time? Am I speaking neutrally or trying to join someone to my side, right? This energy is here to get us to slow down, take a break when we're chasing our goals, when we're speaking our truths, because that's how you stay in balance. If you let the energy just overtake you, then we're back to that like bulldozer, metaphor, right? Then the energy, then we're not in control at all. The energy is just pushing us forward, and we're bulldozing our way through our relationships, our interactions, and our life. And that's not healthy either, right? So just keep in mind when you may start to feel that way, or you might just still feel the tension or the frustration. Try to catch yourself and take a few deep breaths, right? Take a few deep breaths. And then ask yourself the questions I was just saying. And then if you still feel like you need to say what you're going to say it. But just try to be diplomatic. Try to be aware that not everybody has the bold, loud, unapologetic energy, right? So not everybody knows how to deal with it, because not everybody's even had that in their life or in their family. So then when they encounter someone with that energy, it can be discombobulating. It can be hard to process, right? Because you're just not practiced at it, right? Everything in this school of Earth is about practicing and mastering ourself, our emotions, our behaviors, our habits. That's it. That's what being on Earth is about. If you think being on Earth is about making a bunch of money, having a bunch of material things, being famous, like you're missing all of it, right? It's about growth. It's a school that's here to teach us things, and we're supposed to try to slow down, do our inner shadow work, and observe so that we can see what are the lessons the universe is presenting me with. Because we all get presented with different lessons, right? It's kind of like an energy out. You know how, oh, that's good. Okay, so this is how they're showing me in my head. It might be an easier way to explain it. So Earth is like an energy algorithm, right? So you know how when you get on the internet, the more things you look at and like, then the algorithm will send you more of those things, right? Send you more articles like that, more pictures, whatever it is, videos that are like the things you've been looking at. So energy works in a very similar way, in that instead of giving us what we like to do, it's giving us what we need to grow, right? So the energy around us responds based on how we behave and respond. So that's why we all get different individual lessons, because the energy is shifting and changing and serving up to me what I need to move forward, to grow. It's setting up challenges, obstacles, paths for me to follow or not follow, right? And so we have to keep that in mind, right? Which I know can be difficult when you're like deep in it and you're still in reactive mode. But just keep in mind, in this new moon, keep in mind, try to step back, try to stay balanced, try to engage in this loud, bold, unapologetic, bright, optimistic energy. Absolutely. Participate in it. Don't be afraid of it. Invite it in. But don't overindulge, I guess is what I'm saying, right? It's just like with anything. We have to invite things in and then balance things out. Okay? So let's start pulling cards now. I think we've pretty much gone through. Oh, one more thing. Let's see. I wrote down is this energy is going to support us in keeping the faith that everything's going to be okay, that everything will manifest in the time that I'm ready to receive it or grow from it or whatever. Okay? Let me take a quick drink of water here. All right. Let's go ahead and really quick, we'll read from our Moonology. Luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. So, whatever's coming your way, it looks set to put a smile on your face. The new moon in Sagittarius can mark the restart of fun after a period of feeling low. The energy is adventurous and even willing to take a few risks. But be careful you don't bet the farm on something here, as the Wheel of Fortune is still spinning. This card is about exploring life metaphorically, exchanging big ideas with others, and thinking about your own philosophies. Perhaps it's time to change your mind about something important. It can also signal that a trip away is coming up. If that's something you're working to achieve, go for it. But the overall message of this card is that whatever happens next will be some sort of gift, even if that simply means widening your worldview. Okay? And then it also says, count your blessings, literally. Write them down or say them out loud. Also, Sagittarius is the sign of fun, travel, exploration, and the great cosmic quest. It is the sign of big ideas. Its energy is expansive, upbeat, lucky, and divine. The new moon in Sagittarius exudes all of this, as does this card. Nothing is set in stone with Sagittarius, and an optimistic energy could attract all manner of good things if you tap into the energy and expect the best. Ooh, that's good, right? Okie dokes. Now, we're going to use, I have not used this deck in a while, and the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, but it started calling me yesterday. I was doing something else, and so I could feel it calling, and I even said out loud, tomorrow, don't worry, tomorrow we're going to do some cards, so will you use it tomorrow? So I have not used it in a while, so obviously it's got something important to say today because the feeling was very strong to pull this deck. We'll pull a goddess card. I will also clarify if needed with this enchanted forest card or tarot deck, enchanted forest. Probably also, yes, we'll pull a Whispers of Healing card because I love those cards. And then we'll pull an energy for this from the spellcasting oracle cards, and we'll pull whatever crystals will be good for this new moon. And we'll just see what comes out, right? Okay. So, yes, we've already talked a little bit, but for those watching, Spirit, for those watching, yeah, okay. I mean, I cleaned the space and everything before I hit record. I called in the guides, asked for protection for all of us and all those things. But for whatever reason, right now, they're calling me to light this. And this is some rosemary. Oh, I see. Sorry, it looks like my lighter is running out of. Get it getting going. This lighter doesn't seem to be doing the job. Good, and this one's empty. What in the heck? Oh, duh. It's funny, one of my guides just said, there are candles in front of you. Oh, what would I do without them, right? Okay, this is better. And I know this is specifically because I have not used this card deck in a while. So we just want to make sure. Okay. Let me get everything here since we got it. Okie dokes. Okie dokes. My apologies if I sneeze. Sometimes it gets me sneezing. Also, by Amanda Ellis. This is the Fire Element Spray. Okay. Alrighty. For those watching, team ancestors. I always ask when I set the intentions in the beginning. Excuse me, sorry, getting my throat going. When I'm setting the intentions and preparing the space, I always ask, obviously, for protection, for guidance, clarity, in the name of growth, productive growth, right? Moving forward. I also invite in any entity, spirit, angel, ancestor that is not regularly with me that wants to contribute messages, because there may be people connected to those of you watching that they have messages, right? So when I'm setting the intention, I set the intention that any spiritual entity who has messages for growth and are not feeling malicious or nefarious are welcome, right? So sometimes I will get new spirits that I will encounter new spirits that I've never encountered before, because somebody may be watching, right? And there may be a message for one of you. So that's why, again, I say take the rest of the messages that resonate, leave the ones that don't. If the message does not resonate, it is not meant for you, right? So there may just be a few messages here and there in this reading meant for you. Sometimes the whole reading will feel like, holy crap, this reading is just individually for me. Other times, some things you'll be like, ooh, yes, that makes perfect sense for what's going on in my life. And some of the other messages won't, because they're not for you. So don't force them. Don't try to make it fit, right? I just always want to remind everybody. Okay. So for those watching here in our little tribe, what messages, what is the energy for those watching around this new moon in Sagittarius? Okay. Okay. So, transformation and strength, they're saying. Okay. I mean, those are some good energies, right? And then our energy in Sagittarius, luck is on your side, right? So the energy supporting us in chasing our goals, basically, is transformation and strength. So what I'm getting right off the bat is, for those of you watching, to reach out for what you want, you're gonna have to transform some of your perspectives. You're gonna have to open your mind a little bit, and the universe is here to give you strength. Okay. Sorry, I was having a little OCD moment there where I couldn't. Okay, sorry. Your ancestors, your guides are going to be supporting you with strength so that you can do this, so that you can make these shifts and transformations, so that you can get on the path you need to be to follow your goals, to get where you need to be. Okay. This tarot deck, like I said, Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I've had it for about 5 years. I do use it, but it doesn't always call out to be heard. So I have not used it in a while, probably almost like a year maybe. Wow, that's crazy. But I can already tell there's going to be some good messages coming out of here because, like I said, it's like vibrating with energy. Okay, so let it lay out, please. Oh, wow. That was fast. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. And then you may just have to bear with me because it's been a minute since I've used these cards, so I forget like the counselor, that's probably the high priestess, but I'm just going to check the book because they name their cards a little different, right? And I feel like, is this the devil? Card 9? Is that, wait, what card is that? 6. Card 6. 6 of Earth. Oh, okay. 6 of Earth. And the counselor in reverse. Okay, so the counselor is probably the high priestess or the Hierophant. But let's just see here. XII. Okay. Okay. That's XII, right? Okay, so 6 of Earth. This is 6 of Pentacles. And this is... All right, let's find the counselor here. Ah. Okay. Sorry. Bear with me. Thank you for bearing with me. Ah. Okay, so this is a fire card. All right. So wands, and then let's find the counselor. Wait. Oh no, not fire, water. Hello, because there's water all over it. Come on, Amy, get it together. Sorry. This is a water card. Earth and water. So pentacles and cups. So this is the 7 of Cups in reverse. Right? Well, hold on. I'm just trying to find it here. Right. Yeah, water. Okay. Which would be water. Yes. No, because that's not the counselor, though. But that is this. Oh, okay. All right. Man. I found it. Sorry, guys. Okay, so it came out in reverse. It is the counselor. The counselor of water represents one who stands high, an elder advisor, or wise man or woman, whom the king or queen calls upon to discuss their feel. Okay, I got it. So somebody... All right. Okay. So somebody is blocked here. It's saying when it comes out reversed, it signifies lack of empathy and understanding, or an unwillingness to listen and hear what's being said, where yours or another feelings are concerned. It says, ask yourself, are you being unsympathetic and rigid when compassion is needed? Okay, so this is it. So this deck has extra cards. The regular tarot, right, has 10 cards in each suit. Swords, cups, pentacles, wands. This has 2 extra cards in each suit. So this is the 12 of cups, which in a regular tarot deck does not exist, okay? It's called the Counselor. So, and this we have is the 6 of Pentacles, which reminds us of our responsibility and duty to our family, especially the younger members. It asks us to be selfless and in service to those who are in need or dependent on us for love, care, and support. All right. I want to get some clarification, but I think I know where this is going. So, okay. So this energy around this new moon, for those of you watching, is going to provide us with strength so that we can transform and change our perspective. Because I feel like what's happening here is this card is reminding us, like, you have responsibilities to protect, to feed, to love and guide with someone in your life, okay? You have that, you hold that responsibility. But what's happening is okay, I just heard, so for whoever this is for, this is kind of specific. But earlier I said this transformation is going to be about like opening your mind, shifting your perspective, right? And so what I'm getting here is like you're making it harder on yourself to fulfill the responsibilities of caring for someone in your life, because you're afraid to open your mind, or you're stuck in an old way of thinking. You're not listening, and you're not showing empathy and compassion. And what's going to end up happening is what I just heard was you're driving away the person you're responsible to care for. Okay? And I just heard, put yourself in their shoes. How do you think that would feel? That's what I just heard. I depend on you. I depend on you. And you're refusing to see my point of view. That's what I'm hearing. So maybe for somebody watching, this is a child or an elderly parent, right? Because I also just heard caregiving. So maybe somebody you're responsible for caring for, you're not tapped into the empathy and compassion that you're going to need to be tapped into for this to be successful. But let's remember, luck is on your side. The universe is providing you with strength. And there is support for transformation here. Oh, look at this. I was shuffling and this card was backwards. So that the oldest one. This is, I have a feeling. Okay, so what I'm getting here, the oldest one, this deck also has changed the name of like the traditional tarot. So I just want to double check. The oldest one, yeah, is the Hierophant. Okay, so that's what I thought, but so basically, this is saying ask for help. Find guidance from the oldest one. Find guidance from somebody who's already been in this situation, or somebody that has lived more life than you and will be able to give you some life advice, because they have more of it. They may be able to help you shift your perspective because you just haven't learned the proper lessons to shift it yet, right? So this elder is going to play a very important role. Look at this, another one. Okay, so I guess that's how this deck is communicating today. It's not gonna throw any cards out of the deck. Look, it's going to. All right, so we also have the Ace of Challenges, which is the Ace of Swords, and the Forge, which is Temperance. Yeah, so, okay. So this is basically saying have some empathy and compassion in your mental space and in your communication. It's saying whatever's going on in your situation right now, for those of you watching, for those of you this is resonating with, this is what I'm getting, is like somebody depends on you, and you're putting them in a very difficult position because you won't listen to their side of things. You won't try to see things from their point of view and their perspective, and that's actually going to ruin your relationship. That's what I'm hearing, right? So what I'm getting is your challenge around this new moon is going to be in your thinking and in your communication. You're going to need to try to listen. I keep hearing listen more. Listen more. Okay? You have the Temperance here, which is basically saying, remember how earlier I was saying this energy is very loud, bold, and unapologetic, right? Well, that's what I'm getting, is that you need to bring balance to that. We need temperance, okay? We just need to slow down and work on it. We need to work on listening. We need to work on seeing things from this other person's perspective. And if we are really struggling to do that, then we need to seek out the oldest one, right? The Hierophant. We need to seek out someone who is wiser than us, someone who has more life experience than us, someone who is deeply connected to their intuition. That's what I'm getting. For some of you, you're getting guidance and advice from somebody who is deeply connected to their intuition. And what I'm being guided to say is slow down and listen, right? Your transformation is going to be around growing and enhancing your compassion and empathy. Because the people who depend on you are starting to resent you. That's what I just heard. The people who depend on you are starting to resent you. And earlier I said that bulldozing mentality, right, will cause it's funny. I didn't put that in my notes, the resentment thing, but when I was talking to you guys, it like I channeled it in, and so I said it and it came out. And now it's interesting that I didn't put it in my notes, but it needed to come out because this is what this reading is about, right? So there are people, there is a person or persons. So maybe your children, maybe your elderly parent, maybe an employee, right? In your life that depend on you. They depend on you for something. And you're responsible for them, is what I keep getting. So you are the responsible party. You are the one that is going to have to shift and grow in this area and change your perspective, because I feel like this is about either your children or your siblings, maybe. So for whoever's watching, that's kind of what I'm getting. I want to clarify this. 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Earth. Please clarify. 6 of Pentacles. Whoa. Okay. There's one. Flew on the floor. Okay, so. And the one on the floor. Let me get it. Here. Okay. 10 of Visions in reverse. Ace of Spells. So that's Wands, Ace of Wands, and 10 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, okay. So this is what I'm getting here. On this side of things, whoever it is that depends on you, whether it's a partner, a sibling, a parent, a child, a friend, right? Somebody depends on you and it's your responsibility. And this person who depends on you, like we've already talked about, they are starting to resent you. They feel that they're not happy. 10 of Cups is about like happiness, happy ever after. And this came out reversed. Okay? So that basically means whoever this is who depends on you is not having a happy life. And they are starting to resent you and they want a new beginning. So either they're going to leave you and go have a new beginning, or you're going to have to learn. That's what I'm getting. And so even if it's like a child who's underage, just keep in mind that when that child becomes of age, they will leave you and they will be an adult and they will not, like I have a friend who had a very bad relationship with her mother and like literally left when she was old enough and then just never had another relationship with her mother again. Right? So it is possible. So whoever this is that depends on you for whatever, and again, do not force this to fit. If something I'm saying is resonating with you and you know exactly who this person is who depends on you, right, then you know that these messages are for you. If you're confused and you don't know, then this reading might not be for you and you should click off. I feel compelled to say that because this reading is very specific for this new moon. And normally it's not this specific. Okay? So this seems very specific. This is about like someone who depends on you. And I know I keep saying it, but this is what I just keep hearing. A sibling, a sister. I keep hearing a sister, a child, a parent, an employee. So whatever it is for you, right? Because this is a general reading. So this may be resonating for more than one person watching here, but some of this is very specific, right? So if you don't learn how to make this transformation and shift in your thinking and communication and lean into your own intuition and find some temperance to calm and pause and listen and be compassionate and loving and empathetic, then this relationship will end and this person will go have a new beginning. Because right now they are not happy, and it's partially because you have a rigid belief is what I'm hearing. So somebody here has a very rigid belief. They are not open to even considering anything else or any other way or any other perspective. And that is causing issues with the people around them. Okay? So, let's see. We're going to go ahead and pull a Whispers of Healing card now, because that may help further clarify what this is, right? it may help us further clarify this storyline. So, for those watching, what is the thing they need to work on healing? So that this has a good outcome, and so that these two people can find a bridge, can bridge the gap, I'm hearing, right? But those of you watching, I'm getting, you're the ones in need of transformation. You're the ones in need of rethinking and reevaluating maybe whatever it is that you're, and this might give us more of a clue. So, for those watching, what is it they need to heal so that this outcome is better? So that there's growth here and not abandonment. One card, please. One card. Nope. There it is. Oh, two. Okay, vibration and unconditional love. So, I mean, which makes a lot of sense, okay? Because someone in this situation is not being empathetic, is not being compassionate, is not listening, and is not willing to see through this other person's eyes, okay? So that makes sense that what this person needs to work on is raising their vibration and unconditionally loving, right? You can still love and accept and be kind and compassionate to someone you don't agree with 100% or you don't think the same 100%, right? That's what unconditional love is. That is also one of the other things we're here to learn on this School of Earth, is that I can love you and live a different life than you. I can love you. I can wish you the best and hope you have a happy, loving, wonderful life, even if I don't agree with the way you live or what you believe, right? They're bringing something up. This reminds me. A while ago, here in the United States, there's been a lot going on in our government and our culture and over the last few years. And earlier this year, Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, which banned abortion in some places, right? And so when that was happening, there was a lot of talk about it, a lot of fighting, obviously. And I read something that they're showing me right now that applies here, right? So this is not exactly what it says. Actually, you know what? I can get it on my phone. I can read you exactly what it says. Because I don't want to butcher it, right? It's better probably that I read it so that it conveys everything. Alrighty, hold on just a second so I can find it here. Okay, here it is. So, this is the statement. I'm being called to read it because for somebody watching, you need to work on unconditionally loving people when you're not on the same page as far as beliefs or perspective, okay? And that will raise your vibration when you can do that. So, this says, you are not being asked to change your beliefs or religion. You are being asked to let people make their own decisions about their body, their religion, their love, and so on. It doesn't affect you. If you truly believe it is wrong, then let God judge them and worry about your own judgment instead. Okay, so I was being called to read that because somebody watching needs to hear that. Somebody watching needs to start letting up, I'm hearing. Like, it's almost like somebody here is constantly either aggressively or not, or passive aggressively letting this other person know constantly, I don't agree with how you live. I don't agree with your beliefs. You're wrong. This is an issue. I can't be around you if you can't change your beliefs, right? Which is crazy and hypocritical. So again, we're not going to go too much longer into this energy because I feel like what they're trying to say has already come out. But again, the energy here is supporting transformation, growth, okay? Changing our perspective, or in the very least, learning to have empathy and compassion for those people we don't understand. Learning to accept that I may not agree with you on your beliefs and your perspective, but I hear what you're saying. I understand how important it is for you, for me to hear you. And it's okay to agree to disagree because I love you anyway. I feel like that's the message coming out here for those watching. That the lesson here for someone is to learn to love unconditionally when we don't agree with the person's choices, lifestyles, beliefs, behaviors, right? I don't have to love what you're doing to love you, right? We've talked about many times on this channel. I have always been a very different, unique person in terms of society, what society thinks, and the rules of how we're supposed to conform and be, right? I've never fit into that. And so I want people to love and respect my right to live as the way I choose. And I, in turn, need to give everyone else the same love and respect, right? If you want to live however you want to live, I may not agree with it or I may not like it, but that doesn't mean I hate you. It means we're just different. And I can love you and appreciate you anyway. Because we're never all going to be the same. Okay? And how boring would it be on the globe if everybody was exactly the same cookie cutter person? All right? So we have to keep that in mind. And we have to remember that, like, we cannot let... Oh, okay. I also just got another very clear message that's for somebody watching that, like, we are letting outside things tear our family apart. That's what I'm getting. And we don't have to do that, right? It's a choice. We can choose. I can choose to love you anyway, like I was saying, right? Just like I want people to love and respect me and let me live the way I choose to live. And in turn, I have to give that back to people. I can't just take that and then not give everyone the same things I'm asking for, right? So that's what I'm getting here, is that we have to remember that, like, whoever this person is over here that's, like, afraid to change their thinking and very rigid and maybe is stuck in, like, tradition, that isn't bad. That's what they're choosing, and that's okay, right? And I have to love and accept that that's what they're choosing. And it does not affect my life as long as they're not trying to force their reality on me, right? But that's what the issue is here. I feel like somebody here in this situation we're talking about is trying to force somebody else to conform, to live the way I want you to live. I can't accept you if you can't be what I want you to be. That's the gist here, okay? And that's not a great way to be, right? So we need to work on unconditionally loving, because that will raise our vibration, and then that will keep us in this happy, optimistic, abundant energy all the time. And I promise you, I speak from experience, when you can learn to let go of those petty things and you can learn to love someone anyway, despite what I consider their flaws, right? That's where life starts to get really good, because you start to just live in that abundant, happy, joyful, peaceful, harmonious energy all the time. We don't have to be living in all of this conflict. It's time for us to learn compassion and empathy and unconditional love. It's time for humans to start mastering that. Okay? All right. So this is what I just heard. 2 crystals and a goddess card. That's what I heard. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pull 1 from each crystal deck, and then we'll pull a goddess card, and then this reading, we will close it out, because they've pretty much said what needs to be said. Right? So, during this new moon, during this new moon in November, what crystal will be helpful for those watching? Just 1, please. Okay. Thank you. And then the other crystal deck. Listen, one of these days, I'm working on some decks of my own. One of these days, I'm going to have one big crystal deck. So it has all the crystals. Be a giant deck, right? Okay, one more. Whoa. Okay. Top. Okay. That was fast. Man. All right. Okay, so first one we got Peridot, my grandmother's birthstone, which is August. So much life in you. So Peridot will be helpful. And Smoky Amazonite. Is that how you say it? Amazonite? Yeah. I do have some of this, but not handy. I can't show you. I have it in beads. But for those of you watching, Smoky Amazonite and Peridot will be helpful for you during this new moon. We'll put those up here. And then we're going to pull 1 goddess card, and we'll read the message from the goddess, because she always, the goddess messages are always good. Right? Okay. So, what goddess will be supporting us around this new moon? Okay. Nurturer. Demeter. Okay. She's the nurturer. Number card 11. Let's get the book. Demeter. She is a nurturer. Okay. Okay. She's holding some wheat, which also denotes abundance. All right. Giving to others is a wonderful feeling. When you have a healthy sense of yourself, you want to share your love, your inspiration, your experience, and the exchange feels clean. Your boundaries are fluid yet strong. Okay, what I'm getting immediately is this message is in regards to this oldest one, right? Like, seek out advice and guidance from those who know more than you. And in turn, give that back, right? That's what this is saying. When you're healthy and in the position to pay it forward, for those of you who can, you should do that, right? Share a sense of your love, your inspiration, and your experience. The exchange of these ideas will feel clean, right? But then it also reminds you, your boundaries are fluid yet strong. So keep, a friend of mine the other day said she went and got an acupuncture healing. And she said to me, when I was in the healing, one of the things that came through was stop compromising to be kind. Don't compromise to be kind, right? So keep your boundaries. And that's also what I'm hearing while I'm reading this to you, is don't compromise to be kind. Make sure you're keeping your boundaries. Nobody's saying compromise your beliefs, but what this is about is opening your mind, listen to other people's perspectives, and then shift if that is what is needed and that is what you feel you need to do to grow. Okay? The Greek goddess of grain, motherhood, and the harvest. Demeter reminds you that a harvest is meant to be shared. You've now tapped into her nurturing love, which is abundant, and your well-meaning gestures will be received with gratitude in some way returned to you tenfold. And that is the truth. The way you treat others will come back to you tenfold. So if you're rejecting and abandoning others because you don't agree or believe the same things, then that will happen to you tenfold. Then people will start rejecting you for your beliefs, right? So this is basically saying, like, lean into that unconditional love. Step out of the that's what I just heard. Step out of the bulldozing energy and step into the unconditional love vibration. Okay? Nurture. Listen. Try to understand. Try to look at every situation from the other person's point of view as well. Okay? It's not always about you. And I have to remind myself that all the time, right? It's not always just about me and my perspective. I have to remember other people have experiences and perspective too. Okay? So she's supporting us this during this new moon. And it says, you've now tapped into her nurturing love, which is abundant, and your well-meaning gestures will be received with gratitude and in some way returned to you tenfold. Right? Now is the time to nourish yourself too. For giving must be balanced by receiving. Allow yourself to feel how the universe is like a wonderful, nurturing mother that is always there when you need her. Demeter says to trust that you are loved and cared for all day, every day, and for all time, especially now. Okay? And that also reminds me in the very beginning, when I started talking about the new moon energy, what did I say? This energy makes us feel like everything's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. And that's basically what this goddess is saying. Her energy here is to support, because as long as we trust the universe, everything will always work out for everyone's highest good. It's when you don't trust the universe and you start trying to control everything and force your views on people and force your behaviors and habits on people, or vice versa. That's when all of the issues come in, right? So again, let's try to talk less, listen more, be willing to try to understand the other person's perspective. Nobody's saying you have to live the way they live or believe what they believe. All the universe is asking you to do is open your mind. Be willing to open your mind and try to see things from somebody else's point of view for understanding and growth. And we're going to leave it there. because literally as soon as I finished that in growth, whoosh, it was like closed. This is closed now. So funny how the energy's like that, right? Okay, so all the messages that have needed to come out in this new moon and Sagittarius reading have already come out, right? Keep your boundaries. But be empathetic, be compassionate. Look to the elders if you must. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, weekend, whatever it is for you, weekend. Please like, share, and subscribe. That helps grow the channel. It also helps you donate energetically so that when I'm doing readings, you'll get messages for you because you're adding your energy into my little tribe, okay? So have a wonderful one. Namaste, everyone.